Hello, Namaskar, welcome, Swagatam. You are with the Versatile Doctor. My name is Dr. Abhinav Atul, and I welcome you today to this very special live session where I will be reading a chapter or a few chapters from my latest novel, The Broken Boyfriend. So, let me just give you a little bit of background on what this session is all about. I am, as you know, a member of TLB, the Digital City, a digital city which started just like an online book club, and now it has evolved into much more. But more on that later. We in TLB, the Digital City, there is Author of the Week, among other things. Like there is a reality show going on. There are other options like review circle, book of the week, painters competition, daily YouTube competition, and everything that is going on. So in Author of the Week, I have been given the honor of being the author of the week for the week starting yesterday. So from 14th to 21st of February, I am the author of the week at TLB, the Digital City. So what do we do in Author of the Week? We can do anything. So there is a WhatsApp room, and in the room there are over 150 participants, readers and fellow authors, and we communicate, we engage with everybody with as fluent and as open communication as can be ever imagined. So a part of that is today I am in front of you with my book, and I am going to read out a chapter so that you can hear what I want to say in this book in my own voice. So just let me wait a minute or so that more of you can join. And let me see, right now we have Ankita. Welcome, Ankita. And so in the background you will also see that my first book, my first novel, The Fourth Kiss. So this was published in 2022. Although I had written the first draft of this book long ago, but I got it published in May of 2022. So it is 2.5 years old book now, and it is available. Both of my books are available on Kindle, Amazon Kindle, and on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have KU subscription, you can read these books for free. And of course, the paperback editions are available on Amazon. And The Broken Boyfriend is also available in this lovely hardbound cover. So The Broken Boyfriend is also available in this hardbound cover. This is something I wanted to do for a long time, that my book would be available both in paperback and hardbound covers. So this is kind of a dream come true. But okay, without further ado, let me just jump right into what I will be reading for you. So before I jump into the prologue, I want to tell you about. I want to read out the prologue for you. Let me just give you one small background into this story. So this story is a little bit linked to my previous novel, The Fourth Kiss. So these two people who you see kissing on the cover of this book, these are the protagonists of my previous book, and the protagonists of this book, the male protagonist is actually the younger brother of the male protagonist of The Fourth Kiss, and the female protagonist of The Broken Boyfriend is a cousin of the female protagonist of The Fourth Kiss. So in essence, The Broken Boyfriend is a spin-off from The Fourth Kiss, and it's not a sequel that you must read The Fourth Kiss before actually delving into, excuse me, sorry. So what I was saying, you don't really have to read The Fourth Kiss before jumping into The Broken Boyfriend. The Broken Boyfriend can be read as a completely stand-alone novel. It's a contemporary romance, and let me begin. So, of course, whoever has watched this book or connected with me online on social media, YouTube, WhatsApp, whatever, they know that this book is quite thick. The page count I think is 508. So 508 pages long book. Uh, this is so. I agree that this is a big commitment, but I'm sure it will be completely worth your time. So let me begin with the prologue. So we are talking from the point of view of the male protagonist, whose name is Dr. Harsh Sharma. Dr. Harsh Sharma is MBBS and MD. He has done masters in emergency medicine. So this is the peak of COVID second wave. So you can understand the setting. So here goes. 3 hours and 42 minutes. I hadn't had a drink of water in that much time. Looking at the wall clock, about to strike 2 a.m., the only thought I had was, I don't know. I was confused. From exhaustion after another over 12-hour shift, or from dehydration, from sweating profusely in the suffocating PPE suit, or from the sheer absurdity of the situation I was in, I couldn't say. Well, maybe I couldn't say because I was confused. And I felt feverish. Feverish from exhaustion after another over 12-hour shift, or from dehydration, from sweating profusely in the suffocating PPE suit, or from the sheer absurdity of the situation I was in, or from actually having a fever. I couldn't say. As I said, I was confused. I looked up from the patient file I was scribbling new medication advice in. The bench, which usually sat two extremely chatty nurses, was empty now. One of the two was at this very moment running frantically from patient to patient in the COVID ICU, asking about their condition, checking the oxygen flow, checking the temperature and oxygen saturations, trying to do all these without entering the isolation curtains. Whenever she had to enter inside the curtain to adjust a cannula or to change a bottle of IV fluid, she would just change her outer pair of gloves and the outer mask each time, keeping a mask and a pair of gloves inside untouched. The other, well, the second of the two nurses I had gotten used to seeing in the night shift had died today, barely 6 hours back. I was there. I had intubated nurse Shemanti. I had started the machine that pumped humidified oxygen directly into her failing lungs. I had held on to her fleeting life as her soul had wrenched itself free from my double gloved hands and floated away. What? What am I thinking? I don't believe in soul or afterlife or anything else for that matter. I need some water. I need some fresh air. I need sleep. No, not sleep. I need rest. I need this nightmare to end. By the time I reached my room on the 8th floor, I knew I was positive. I didn't need to be tested. I knew. I took my phone out and without looking at the number of missed calls and unread messages, without even taking the phone out of the silent mode, I went straight to the hospital's doctor's WhatsApp group and typed, I am symptomatic. Primary contacts Dr. Ajit Bendre and Nurse Maya from Cove ICU. Isolating myself, starting meds. Take care. What my brain couldn't get was why I heard a ting tong of WhatsApp message notification when my phone was clearly still silent. I looked up from my phone and saw what I hadn't noticed before. The ceiling lights of my loo, the ceiling right, sorry, the ceiling lights of my room were lit. The figure that sat on my bed held the phone whose ringer announced the incoming message. Dr. Shweta, what are you doing here? She didn't answer. When our eyes met, I could see my confusion mirrored in them. I was too exhausted to process anything, let alone the reason why a female colleague of mine would be crouching on my bed in the wee hours of the morning. In this moment of perplexity, she croaked, "She died." I didn't know Dr. Shweta Chatterjee was friendly or even familiar with the late nurse Semanti, but I responded, I'm sorry, Shweta. Shweta groaned. She managed two more words, cutting my useless condolence. Ma died. She broke into dry hiccups. She was perhaps unable to cry from shock. I stood frozen at my spot, vaguely remembering our conversation from a few days ago. Shweta's mother had a persistent fever after the second dose of the vaccine. She had told me about this conversationally. She and I and all others who knew about this were certain that this was nothing major, nothing a few tablets of Dolo 650 wouldn't resolve. But we were all wrong. When? I asked. After a pause, she said, maybe an hour ago. Then she glanced at her phone and barked out a hoarse laughter. More than 2 hours ago. She said and brought her left hand to her face, half to support her head and half in exasperation. I couldn't say anything. It's the lowest point of my life, I feel, she started slowly. I found out how utterly lonely and helpless I am at the exact moment when I desperately did not want to be alone. I came here thinking you would talk to me even if I woke you in the middle of the night. Your shift was supposed to be over by 10 p.m., right? A small chuckle escaped my dry lips under the mask. When was the last time any of us worked by the clock? She said, squeezing her eyes with an air of surrender. But you can't even come near me. I told you, Dr. Shweta, I have, she interrupted with a wail. I know, I don't care, I don't care. It was heartrending, especially because she was the last person one would imagine breaking down. Where should I go? What should I do? When I stayed silent, she sighed. Oxygen cylinders, ICU beds, and remdesivir are in short supply now. But friends, it seems, always remain in short supply. Listen, Shweta, I am so sorry about your mother. But if you also get sick, how would that make your father and brother feel? Can you hold my hand, please? Shweta requested. Standing more than 6 feet from me, she extended her hand. She looked into my eyes. I hesitated, then extended my recently sanitized, ungloved hands to take hers. She said, "What are we doing wrong, Harsh? Why are things getting worse everywhere?" I had no answer. She didn't need one. You are burning up. Maybe I can at least save you, she said and gave me a smile which broke me, a smile so sad it sent me a year back. Kajal had said, I love you, Harsh, as the door closed, and she had smiled a smile so sad that my heart had broken into a million pieces, each piece calling me a monster. So that is it, guys. This is the prologue. So this, of course, takes place in the year 2021. And after this prologue, the story actually starts, the main story that you will be reading. And that story starts in 2016. So I have written this book in dual point of views. So there is Harsh's point of view, the male protagonist, and there is Kajal's point of view, the female protagonist, and first person. In the meanwhile, Ankita had already joined. Sonal, hello doc. Hello Sonal, how are you? So how did you like the narration, like the prologue that I just read? Roshni says, calling me a monster. Yes, that is how the prologue ends. So Harsh is remembering something from 1 year back. That means 2020. Kajal had said, I love you to him and smiled in a way that actually broke his heart. And his own heart was calling him a monster for what he had done to Kajal. What has he done or not done? Well, you will have to read the book to find out. So hello Roshni, thank you for joining. And one more thing. So if you are in possession of my first novel, The Fourth Case, you will see in the back, in the end of The Fourth Case, I have added one sample chapter from The Broken Boyfriend, which is actually just a teaser for what you are going to get, and it is a chapter called Fortune. And no, Fortune is not the first chapter of the Broken Boy. Sorry, Fortune is not the first chapter of the Broken Boyfriend. It's kind of in the first 10 chapters or something, but it will give you a look into the depths of the relationship and the problems that Harsh and Kajal are having in the events that are being depicted in the book Broken Boyfriend. So Roshni says, now I have to know what he did. Of course you have to know. That is why I have written this in the prologue, and of course you will have to catch this book. You can buy this book on Amazon. Of course, if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, you can get it. And also there is a giveaway from one of my friends Instagram account. She's hosting a giveaway, and the first prize are both these books, the Fourth Case and the Broken Boyfriend. Whoever wins the this giveaway, they will get one copy each, signed copy of course, with a bookmark of both these books. So if you are interested, don't give up this opportunity. Of course, I'll be hosting another giveaway maybe next week or something, but right now this giveaway is going on. Check out the giveaway, the post on my Instagram account. Follow me on @TheVersatileDoctor. So The Versatile Doctor is my handle by which you can follow me on Instagram, on YouTube. You can log on to www.TheVersatileDoctor.com or my website. You will get all the details of both my books, the links, and the other stuff that I have been doing in social media on that website. Sonal says, I'm late. Of course you are late. I just finished reading prologue. I missed what you said. So I think I can read another chapter if you guys want, but let me know, and I am looking forward to your questions if you have any. So the author of the week, Room, in TLB the Digital City, has been very active since yesterday, and thank you so very much for engaging with me, for talking to me, for asking me questions, and for showering your love to my books and my social media accounts and everything. Thank you so much. So why not? Why don't I read one chapter from the fourth kiss? How would that be? Roshni says, please do. Okay. So I think Roshni is asking me to read another chapter from The Broken Boyfriend. I won't do that. Yes, I'm going to read one chapter from The Fourth Kiss. Let me see which one. Of course, someone said, I think it was, someone told me about the unique way I name my chapters. Like you can see in the on your screen. So this is the fourth case, and the chapter names are like the groom to be or not to be. How did this happen? Birthday convergence, and actually I make sure that I name my chapters with a lot of thought and a kind of twist. Like it may be a humorous twist, it may be just casual twist, or it may be a deep. It may have a deep meaning. So even in The Broken Boyfriend, my chapters have names which have meanings. I don't go by chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So the first after prologue, the first chapter's name is The Night of Rishi's Wedding, and the chapter 2 is Night of Preeti's Wedding. Now this will sound idiotic to you, but no, the first chapter, The Night of Rishi's Wedding, is actually written from Harsh's point of view, and Rishi is Harsh's elder brother, so that makes sense. Now the second chapter, while we move ahead, has been written in the point of view from of Kajal. So Preeti, Rishi's wife, is Kajal's cousin, so that makes sense, because when Rishi is getting married to Preeti in the first book, in the second book they're relatives. The Rishi's younger brother Harsh and Preeti's cousin Kajal, they have different point of views. They are looking at the wedding in completely different fashions. So you'll have to find out, and you will see like the chapter Fortune. You can see, okay, the chapter Fortune, which is teased in the fourth case in the book, you will find is 12th chapter. So I'll Sonal says yes, I like this chapter naming ideas. Okay, thank you. Let me read an excerpt from chapter 6, First Coffee, First Kiss. Is that okay? So let me go to page number 19. Oh, the fourth kiss is kind of a very small book. I mean, what it has 160 pages. 160 pages, quite nice, right? So I really went overboard with The Broken Boyfriend, 508 pages. So you'll have to pardon me, because I have written everything that I felt with The Broken Boyfriend. So I'm starting this chapter called First Coffee, First Kiss from the book The Fourth Kiss. And before I start, let me give you one small introduction of what is going on here. So this is from the point of view of Rishi, the male protagonist of The Fourth Kiss. Sonal says 508 versus 160. Nice. Yes, there is no comparison actually. This is a completely different book. Of course, both are, if you talk about genre, the both are contemporary romance, but this is tone wise, this is completely different, and you will find it like a rom-com, a second chance romance, a kind of light read with some comedy and a little bit of emotions, romance and everything. But I am just be forewarned, in this book you will get pain. Of course, it you can understand the same from the title itself and the cover. There is a lot of pain in this book. So, Rishi is with Rishi is meeting Kajal and Preeti. Kajal, you know, the protagonist of this one, and Preeti, who is ultimately going to get married to Rishi. 2 days after that, she means Preeti, summoned me without giving a reason. I suspected a birthday. It was only when I found her at City Center Mall with an equally clueless Kajal that I realized she had taken my comment about Kajal seriously. I was glad that she thought of this, not because I am a professional flirt, nor because I honestly expected to date Kajal, because I was in a grim mood ever since I had turned down Dad's search result as in search for marriage. You know, a match that Rishi's father had found, and Rishi had turned it down. So, and actually, I understood how serious a thought Preeti had given to this only when she left me with Kajal and did a Houdini. But there was a glitch. Kajal was almost as old as my brother, anything between 18 and 19. I didn't notice it when I saw her at Preeti's place because of her dress and the way she carried herself, holding and guiding Preeti. Of course, Kajal was very pretty, beautiful, and all that. She was one of those specially ordered pieces manufactured rarely in God's factory. She was at least 3 inches shorter than me on her not so high heels, although not as fair as Preeti. Her complexion was in perfect match to her well placed big blue eyes. But all the same, to my soon to be 28-year-old eyes, she was just a kid. I mean, having a child's face like Preeti is completely different from actually being a child like Kajal, right? Kajal didn't know my name at that time. Preeti had referred to me as the one who came to see me. So I began with introducing myself properly. Once we were acquainted, we talked. Though she was hesitant, it felt good to talk to her. But soon I felt that she is not the one I could strike a friendship with so easily, or talk about life's disappointments and deep dark secrets of my heart. And I still could not understand why she appeared so scared of me. Maybe due to my age. Roshni comments, kids, my thoughts will people her. I don't know what you mean. Kids, my thoughts will people her. Correct it, please, whatever you want to write. Anyway, soon I noticed that it was me mainly who was talking, and she, on the other hand, confined herself to short sentences and mostly monosyllables. So I just looked around. I had been in city center Salt Lake City a million times with friends and with Rose. The place never changed. It was always filled with colorful people. The shops, stalls, and the multiplex all had a class. My favorite spot was the open air where I loved to sit with Rose as we chatted for hours. Kajal shrugged half heartedly when I suggested we could go there. It started raining just then, one of those really cold winter rains, and we were forced to stay in the sheltered parts. This whole thing was so awkward that my mind had stopped working. When I saw the couples who had been sitting outside hoping the clouds would just stay there as they were and not ruin the romantic, albeit very cold, setting, they came inside as I figured out it won't be a good place to keep standing. I asked Kajal if she wanted us to go to Pizza Hut. She said, "No, I'm fine." I asked if she wanted to go to cafe coffee day. No thanks. Then there were no's to popcorn, pastries, and chaat, following which I stopped trying at all. We started walking towards the crowd. I casually asked, "What do you do?" I had meant to ask where or in which class or which college she studied, but something was perhaps wrong with my approach. She positively panicked. She backed off and mumbled something. Fortunately, Preeti reappeared the same moment to save the day. Kajal began scolding her for having vanished without a trace. I offered a truce in the form of coffee for three. I addressed Preeti, who gladly agreed on cafe coffee day before Kajal could say no again. So that was my first coffee with Preeti. I barely talked to them in the cafe. Kajal kept telling her something in whispers and I kept my ear out of it. Kajal kept apparently Preeti was as perplexed as I was on why Kajal was overreacting. The cafe was quite old. I think it was one of the first joints to establish here when City Center first opened. The couches and tables had been there for years. They were well taken care of, but the wear and tear was apparent. The couch I was sitting on had a cushion so used up that it was hardly a cushion. The right armrest was thinner than the left, and the stitches had come apart at a few places. But the place as a whole was nice, with a familiar ambience and, of course, filled with customers, mostly couples. It was getting hyper cold and dark, although it was only 5 p.m. So, after the coffee, I suggested we call it a day. One of my greatest achievements is my car. Well, second hand, but my car. Understandably, I offered to drop the girls home, which they gladly accepted. Kajal, who had remained mostly silent through coffee, blurted all of a sudden that she would sit with Preeti in the back seat. Neither of us responded to that as it was obvious. I guessed that Preeti had understood that her dating service didn't work as quite didn't work as expected and was ready to do anything to make it up to her upset cousin. Once on the road, all three sat quietly, each with his or her own rainy memories. I was reliving my kiss with Rose. I took a wrong turn. "Where are you going?" Kajal said, suddenly cautious. I apologized. Before I could decide whether to turn the car around or to continue till the next crossing, Preeti observed, "Thinking about Rose, are you?" I nodded, continuing in a straight line. One characteristic of Salt Lake is that the streets are never crowded. Both sides of the roads are lined by apartments, complexes, and other buildings so different from those in the main city that no one could imagine Salt Lake being part of Kolkata. "Listen," Preeti continued tentatively. "I'm sorry for my stupid idea. I didn't want to hurt you." She looked at Kajal. Then, as if to make it polite, she added, "Either of you." I did not look at Kajal. I was unsure of what she thought of me. After 100 meters at 50 kilometers per hour, she said, "It's okay. It was nice to meet him." I didn't say anything. Presently, Preeti said, "I always wanted to dance in the rain with him." I looked at her in the rearview mirror. She was speaking to herself more than to me or Kajal. A few seconds later, she whispered, "He was always concerned about getting wet. But I wanted to get wet with him." I said, "But when you're alone, all you feel is cold." A cold silence covered us for 200 meters. "Would you please pull the car over for a while?" Preeti said out suddenly. "Yes, of course. Why?" I stopped the car at the roadside. She opened the door and said, "I want to feel the rain again." "Hey, wait!" I and Kajal began at the same time, but Preeti was already out. There she was, savoring the cold rain, dancing like a grown up kid, bathed in the purity of the downpour. I turned my engine off. Hey, wait! I was out. I strode up to Preeti. She noticed me only when I held her hand. We danced together to an inaudible beat, the ball dance my Rose had taught me. Within seconds, I was soaking wet. My feet were numb inside my leather shoes, but we were dancing arm in arm, laughing loudly and freely. As a few buses and cars passed by, we noticed everyone was taking a peek on us. I imagined how we would have appeared to them, two crazy people dancing in the freezing cold rain. Much later, I thought that we were lucky no policemen saw us. Thunderous clouds roared as we danced. Darkness engulfed us as we danced. Lightning startled the wet world as we danced. It rained and rained as we danced. Her heel slipped over a loose piece of gravel and she lost her balance. I pulled her by her arm to keep her from falling. She hung on to me for a while, and then, without conscious thought from either one of us, the grasp converted into an embrace. I could feel her body tremble in the cold. I could feel her bosom heave as she panted. She whispered in my ears, "Rain is never cold as long as your heart is warm." I looked into her eyes, deep into her eyes, and then we kissed. When we embarked on my car, it was to find the forgotten Kajal staring at us in utter disbelief, with her mouth hanging open in indecision whether to scream or gasp. I took the wheels and Preeti sat in the front seat beside me, avoiding Kajal's big blue eyes, which had become even bigger with surprise. Kajal spoke only when I started the engine. "What's gotten into you? You have been kissing for like hours in the open, on the street, in the rain." "Oh, shut up." This came from me and Preeti. So this is the chapter, First Coffee, First Kiss. And yes, this first kiss that I just told you about is depicted on the cover. I hope you like this. In the meantime, I think I have had a few of the comments. Okay, Roshni said, "You continue reading." ठीक है. Sonal says, "I need to read the book now." Of course, you need to read the book. Sonal, that my is huge. That my is huge. Okay, I don't know. I can imagine Preeti. Okay, or dancing in the rain. Roshni says. And Sonal says, "All of this clear as a movie." Oh, thank you. So that means, I have been able to convey what I imagined to you. Roshni says, "I know I can imagine it totally." Sonal agrees, yes. Roshni says, "Oh, first kiss, the cover kiss." Yes, the cover kiss. So that is all. I think we have had a nice session, nice reading session. I read the prologue from The Broken Boyfriend and kind of my favorite chapter from the fourth kiss, which is called First Coffee, First Kiss. So of course there are many more coffees in the book and many more kisses, at least 4 which you can understand, but there might be more. So if you think we have been, where is the time? We have been talking for over 30 minutes, over half an hour. And I think we can stop this session unless you have any questions. So Roshni, Sonal, Ankita, and anybody who is watching us. Roshni says, "I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much." So anybody who is watching, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything to say, please say it right now. Otherwise, we can just, stop this. Roshni says both the books. She loves both the books. Well, if you loved Roshni, if you loved both the books, I would very much like you to read both of them and actually give your thoughts after you have read the entire book. Mm, so no more comments. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have liked the way I described, the way I read the chapters, and thank you for joining again. Do join TLB, the Digital City, for more stuff like this. There are so many authors who get the chance to become the author of the week every week, and a few of them actually read their own chapters like this and engage. This is a unique opportunity to engage with readers. Sonal says, "Oh, I meant by that my car, second hand, okay, but it's my car." Yes, of course, my car. See, it's not the protagonist is not a millionaire or a billionaire. So he is just a middle class guy, working guy. He has a job, and after starting his job, when a man earns enough to have his own car, to buy his own car, that is a matter of pride for him. Of course, that's what happens in the real world. In middle class, not talking about the upper class and the millionaires and billionaires. uh, so Sonal says, liked, no, loved, yes. Thank you so much. Roshni says, yes, yes, you were amazing. So thank you so much. Now I think we can end this session. Thank you so much for joining, and have a happy time reading and happy time engaging in TLB, the Digital City. Take care. Good night. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.